Are there any archaeological evidences that can verify historical claims made in the Book of Mormon? The Book of Mormon makes many statements about people, places, and things which it claims existed. If these statements were true, I believe that there would be many artifacts that could back up the claims made in the Book of Mormon. In this section, I will show from the Book of Mormon itself why I believe it would be logical to expect to find many artifacts to back it up, if the story really happened. In fact, I would expect that many of the things talked about would not even need to be looked for at all, because they would be readily visible to anyone approaching anywhere near to them. Things like cities, temples, towers, etc. Let's look at some verses now. Buildings. Book of Mormon, 2 Nephi, chapter 5, verses 15 and 16, quote, "And I did teach my people to build buildings and to work in all manner of wood and of iron and of copper and of brass and of steel and of gold and of silver and of precious ores, which were in great abundance. And I, Nephi, did build a temple, and I did construct it after the manner of the temple of Solomon, save it were not built of so many precious things, for they were not to be found upon the land. Wherefore it could not be built like unto Solomon's temple, but the manner of the construction was like unto the temple of Solomon. And the workmanship thereof was exceedingly fine." End quote. Jerem chapter 1, verse 8. "And we multiplied exceedingly, and spread upon the face of the land, and became exceedingly rich in gold, and in silver, and in precious things, and in fine workmanship of wood, in buildings, and in machinery, and also in iron, and copper, and brass, and steel, making all manner of tools of every kind to till the ground, and weapons of war, yea, the sharp-pointed arrow, and the quiver, and the dart, and the javelin, and all preparations for war." Mosiah chapter 9, verse 8. "And we began to build buildings, and to repair the walls of the city, yea, even the walls of the city of Lehi Nephi, and the city of Shalom." Mosiah chapter 11, verses 8 through 10. "And it came to pass that King Noah built many elegant and spacious buildings, and he ornamented them with fine work of wood and of all manner of precious things, of gold and of silver and of iron and of brass and of ziph and of copper, and he also built him a spacious palace, and a throne in the midst thereof, all of which was of fine wood, and was ornamented with gold and silver and with precious things. And he also caused that his workmen should work all manner of fine work within the walls of the temple, of fine wood and of copper and of brass." Mosiah chapter 11, verses 12 and 13. "And it came to pass that he built a tower near the temple, yea, a very high tower, even so high that he could stand upon the top thereof, and overlook the land of Shilom, and also the land of Shemlon, which was possessed by the Lamanites, and he could even look over all the land round about. And it came to pass that he caused many buildings to be built in the land Shilom. And he caused a great tower to be built on the hill north of the land Shilom, which had been a resort for the children of Nephi at the time they fled out of the land. And thus he did do with the riches which he obtained by the taxation of his people." Alma chapter 16, verse 13. "And Alma and Amulek went forth preaching repentance to the people in their temples and in their sanctuaries, and also in their synagogues, which were built after the manner of the Jews." Alma chapter 48, verse 8. "Yea, he had been strengthening the armies of the Nephites, and erecting small forts or places of resort, throwing up banks of earth round about to enclose his armies, and also building walls of stone to encircle them about, round about their cities and the borders of their lands, yea, all round about the land." Alma chapter 51, verse 26. "And thus he went on taking possession of many cities, the city of Nephiah, and the city of Lehi, and the city of Morianton, and the city of Omner, and the city of Gid, and the city of Mulek, all of which were on the east borders by the seashore. Alma chapter 56, verses 14 and 15. The land of Manti, or the city of Manti, and the city of Zizrim, and the city of Cumene, and the city of Antipara, and these are the cities which they possessed when I arrived at the city of Judea. And I found Antipas and his men toiling with their might to fortify the city. 3 Nephi chapter 6, verses 7 and 8. And it came to pass that there were many cities built anew, and there were many old cities repaired, and there were many highways cast up, and many roads made, which led from city to city, and from land to land, and from place to place. 4 Nephi chapter 1, verse 7 and 8. And the Lord did prosper them exceedingly in the land, yea, insomuch that they did build cities again, where there had been cities burned. Yea, even that great city Zarahemla did they cause to be built again. Surely we should expect to find somewhere the remains of one of these buildings, towers, walls, synagogues, or temples. Surely there would be some trace of machinery or the other things supposedly being made from iron, steel, brass, etc. Weapons. The Book of Mormon talks a lot about weapons and armor in huge quantities. Weapons, especially those made from metal, should be something that we could expect to find even 2,000 years later. Mosiah chapter 9, verse 16. And it came to pass that I did arm them with bows and with arrows, with swords and with scimitars, and with clubs and with slings, and with all manner of weapons which we could invent. And I and my people did go forth against the Lamanites to battle. Alma chapter 2, verse 12. Therefore the people of the Nephites were aware of the intent of the Amalekites, and therefore they did prepare to meet them. Yea, they did arm themselves with swords, and with scimitars, and with bows, and with arrows, and with stones, and with slings, and with all manner of weapons of war of every kind. Alma chapter 2, verse 14. And it came to pass that Amalekite did arm his men with all manner of weapons of war of every kind. Alma chapter 43, verses 18 and 19. And it came to pass that he met the Lamanites in the borders of Jershon, and his people were armed with swords and with scimitars and all manner of weapons of war. And when the armies of the Lamanites saw that the people of Nephi, or that Moroni, had prepared his people with breastplates and with arm shields, yea, and also shields to defend their heads, and also they were dressed with thick clothing. Alma chapter 49, verse 6. And they had also prepared themselves with shields and with breastplates, and they had also prepared themselves with garments of skins, yea, very thick garments to cover their nakedness. Helaman chapter 1, verse 14. And it came to pass in the 41st year of the reign of the judges that the Lamanites had gathered together an innumerable army of men, and armed them with swords, and with scimitars, and with bows, and with arrows, and with headplates, and with breastplates, and with all manner of shields of every kind. Ether chapter 7, verse 9. Wherefore he came to the hill Ephraim, and he did molten out of the hill, and made swords out of steel for those whom he had drawn away with him. And after he had armed them with swords, he returned to the city Nehor, and gave battle unto his brother Korihor, by which means he obtained the kingdom and restored it unto his father Kib. Ether chapter 15, verse 15. And it came to pass that when they were all gathered together, every one to the army which he would, with their wives and their children, both men, women, and children, being armed with weapons of war, having shields and breastplates and headplates, and being clothed after the manner of war, they did march forth one against another to battle, and they fought all that day and conquered not. With all of the weapons and types of armor talked about in the Book of Mormon, surely we would find a weapon or a piece of armor that could be linked to people like those talked about in the Book of Mormon.